Welcome, dear students. Today I am going to teach you a new chapter, Transpiration. You have read in earlier classes about transpiration, that transpiration is the loss of water from the aerial parts of the plants. That is, loss of the water from the leaves. You know that the root is absorbing water from the soil, and this water from the root goes to the stem, and from the stem through the xylem vessels it reaches the upper part of the plant and the leaves. Now, what happens to this water? This water is utilized for various purposes by the plants, like photosynthesis. Okay. So, is the all water that is absorbed by the plant utilized by the plant? No. Because photosynthesis and the various process in which water is required, that water requirement is only 2%. So, what happens to the remaining 98%? That remaining 98% is lost, and lost from the aerial parts of the plant, and that is called transpiration. Now, I am going to write the definition of transpiration first. The loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant is known as transpiration. The loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant is known as transpiration. Now, as I was telling you, transpiration can be of three types. Okay, so let me rub the board. Types of transpiration. Number one is the stomatal transpiration. Stomatal transpiration. Now, in this stomatal transpiration, all of you know, the water vapor comes out through the stomata and these tomatoes are present in mostly in the lower part of the leaf. So it is the loss of water mostly takes place through this process only, this method only, that is tomatal transpiration. Okay, so maximum amount of loss of water is through stomatal transpiration. The second one is the cuticular transpiration. Now, what is this cuticular transpiration? In this cuticular transpiration, as you know, if you watch a leaf, if you see a leaf, you may have touched a leaf, then you may have felt that some waxy substance is there on both the sides of the leaf. And that waxy substance is actually the cuticle. That upper layer on the leaf, that is the cuticle, waxy substance. And it prevents the loss of water. Okay, so from the upper surface of the leaf, the cuticle, if some water is going out, water vapor is going out, then that is called cuticular transpiration. So from the surface of the leaf, you can say, if the water is going out, then it is called the cuticular transpiration. Now, third one is the lenticular. Lenticular transpiration. Third one is the lenticular transpiration. So we have these three types. What is lenticular transpiration? In lenticular transpiration, there are some openings actually in the stem, and these openings in the bark of the old trees are called the lenticles, and from there the water vapor goes out. Okay, so that type of loss of water is known as lenticular transpiration, and that takes place from the stem. So the upper one is from the leaf and the lower one is from the stem. Now let us see the next thing. We have to show that actually transpiration is taking place or not. We can show that thing by some experiments. Okay, so we are going to perform some experiments. Actually, I am going to tell you about 2 experiments that are given in your book. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the experiments which we can do to show transpiration in plants. Now, for the first experiment which we are going to do, we have to take one potted plant. Okay, and that potted plant should be well watered. Okay, now let me tell you. We have to take one potted plant. I am drawing the diagram. This is the pot, and it should be watered properly. Okay, now we will take one polythene bag and cover this plant and tie it near the base of the stem. See, we will tie it here at the base of the stem. Now keep another thing we can take one polythene bag and tie it properly. This is actually control. Now what is control? We will compare the two. the first polythene bag and the second polythene bag. Both will be exposed to the same environment, and the changes we will compare. Okay, so the control is having only a polythene bag and it is well tied here properly. Here the experiment setup, we have one potted plant well watered and one polythene bag tied around the plant and properly tied at the base of the stem. Now we will keep this setup for 2 hours in the sunlight. Now what will happen? When we will keep this, you can see after 2 hours that some droplets of water is on the polythene bag. You can see some droplets on the polythene bag. Now what is these droplets? These are the water droplets. These are the water droplets. So from where these water droplets have come? See, we have closed this thing properly within a polythene bag and nothing is there. From nowhere the water can come inside. Here it is also properly tied. So whatever water is coming out, that is coming from the leaf and the stem. So through this experiment, we can show that transpiration, that is the loss of water, is taking place from the aerial parts of the plant. And in the control, you can see no changes there. So the loss of the water is coming only from the plant only, that is the upper part of the plant only. Okay, so this is the first experiment. Now second experiment we have, I am rubbing the board. A little bit more modified experiment to show the transpiration. In this we actually take 2 potted plants, 1 potted plant, 2 potted plants. Okay, we are taking 2 potted plants, well watered potted plants. Okay, and two potted plants we have taken, and this potted plant, the pot is actually here covered with a polythene. In both the cases, the pot is covered with a polythene and tied properly. Okay. Now, after this, one bell jar is taken and this setup is covered here. Another bell jar is taken and covered here. And one more bell jar is taken. This is the setup number A, setup number B, and setup number C. Now, in the first bell jar, we have a plant and the pot is covered with polythene bag. In second part, we can do some extra bit things. We can take a wooden scale, and to this we can attach one cobalt chloride paper, which is blue in color. Cobalt chloride paper, which is actually to show that presence of water. Now what happens? This cobalt chloride paper, if water is there, it will, which is now blue in color, will change into pink color. If water is present, it will change into pink color, from blue to pink. If it doesn't change, then no water is there. If it changes, then water is present. Okay. So this is to test done to test the presence of water. Okay. Now in the third set also we can put one wooden scale and one cobalt chloride paper, which is again blue. Now we will keep this setup in the sunlight for 2 hours, and what we will observe that water droplets are formed on the setup number A. Water droplets are also formed on set number B. But here no water droplets, no water droplets. And now let us see what has happened to this cobalt chloride paper. It has turned into blue to black, pink color. This blue color cobalt chloride paper has turned into pink color. Okay, this will change into pink color. Okay, and here there is no change, no change. Now, why we have covered this pot with polythene bags? So that the water does not evaporate from the soil. Okay, it is all enclosed within the polythene bag. So water will not come out from the soil to the jar, on the surface of the jar. The water can come only from the aerial parts of the plant. Okay. So you can show this from this experiment that water is lost from the aerial parts of the plant, and that in this experiment set number B, we can surely prove that the droplets are nothing but the water only, because this cobalt chloride paper, which is blue in color, has now turned into what color? Pink color. So from this experiment we can show that water is lost from the aerial parts of the plant in the form of water vapor, which has condensed as droplets of water. So it is lost in the form of water vapor. Okay, and this process is called transpiration. Okay, so that are the two experiments which are there in your book. Now with that, today I am finishing up. Now I am going to give you some questions. You please write that questions in your copy. The first question is, what is transpiration? What is transpiration? The second question is, what are the types of transpiration? Third question, give one experiment to show transpiration in plants. So these are the three questions. What is transpiration? What are the types of transpiration? Give one experiment to show transpiration in plants for you. So do it in your copy and it is your homework. Okay, thank you and have a good day. Thank you.